Hey guys, welcome back to my comic review series on IDW Sonic the Hedgehog, where I cover each and every issue. Today I am doing a review of issue 11, which is the third part of the Battle for Angel Island arc. Before I begin, I'm going to give you all a brief recap of the events leading up to this point. Neo Metal Sonic has succeeded in taking over Angel Island and the Master Emerald to his leisure, leading to Sonic and Amy to call on all of the Resistance members, those being all the main characters from the first 8 issues, to group a meeting and discuss a plan to thwart his actions. They split up into 3 teams, Blaze on Team 1, Amy, Tails, Tangle, Whisper, Rude, Silver, and the Chaotix on Team 2, and Sonic and Knuckles on Team 3. After heading to the battleship and entering the island, Teams 1 and 2 do their own respective tasks on taking out the ship and the Batniks. As for Team 3, things have taken a turn for the worse as Neo Metal Sonic has transformed into his own super form and easily dominates Sonic and Knuckles. However, he is sneak attacked in the torso by Shadow, causing him to revert to his base form. This causes Neo Metal Sonic to inherit the abilities of the Ultimate Life Form alongside Sonic's biodata and the Master Emerald. With all of them combined, he transforms into his ultimate form, Metal Overlord, or as officially dubbed in this comic, Master Overlord. While all of this was going on, Rough and Tumble, who have seemingly been freed from being apprehended in issue 3, locate Mr. Tinker, an amnesiac Dr. Eggman, in Windmill Village and capture him, while also asserting that a doctor knows something about him and could be the main reason for the Skunk Duo's return. And it all leads up to this very issue where the battle will conclude. The main cover for this issue is magnificently gorgeous and it does a fascinating job on letting readers know the climax of this battle. Metal Sonic is shown in the foreground, going from original, base Neo, and his aforementioned ultimate form, albeit with gross saliva. Odd. Also on the cover is Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik, who will likely be part of the setting of the subplot of the issue as mentioned earlier as well. This cover was drawn by Jonathan Gray, and with Matt Herms taking charge of the coloring. This is the 4th IDW Sonic cover by these two artists, the first being the Spencer's variant cover from issue 1, the second being the RI-B cover from issue 2, and the cover A from issue 6. It is largely similar to issue 6's cover, just this time featuring more characters with a bigger threat. So they're pretty much on par as some of the best covers in the series. Also, is it just me, or is this inspired by Dragon Ball Z Fusion Reborn's poster? As someone who's a fan of both Sonic and Dragon Ball, I can't really say I'm surprised at the amount of comparison and similarities between the two for the past 3 decades, but that's a story for another day. Ooh, we starting off with Blaze appearing? Let's go, she's the best. Anyways, Angel Island is currently on a free fall due to the Master Emerald's power being obtained by the Master Overlord. Blaze notices this and wonders if she was the cause of it after destroying the wings in the previous issues. Tangle and Amy come to her aid and have her grab onto Tangle's tail to enter the Egg Fleet. When Blaze apologizes for causing the island to fall after destroying the wings from the fleet, Amy reassures her claim that the reason the island is falling is because...
Oh no, it's starting to happen! Without the Master Emerald's power, this whole island will fall into the ocean!
It's at this moment where Sonic, Knuckles, and Shadow are dodging crystal shards thrown at them by Master Overlord, as Sonic expresses some solace that they are at least not fighting him in his super form anymore. Dude, even if that was the case, that still doesn't mean he's not formidable. Also, I'm surprised the crystal shards don't turn into spiky pillars this time. Knuckles contacts Amy, informing her of Neo Metal's transformation and asks if Blaze's burning form is still around for additional support. Unfortunately, Blaze says she cannot transform again for a while as the Soul Emerald's power is currently diminished, thus the form being out of the picture. Sonic also notes that they don't have the Chaos Emeralds in their possession either, meaning no Supersonic for him either. Now that I think about it, where are the Chaos Emeralds in this series? We haven't seen a single one since the start of the comic. It took the Archie series 4 issues to introduce them and Supersonic, so surely we could have seen one by now. As Shadow is still determined to not lose to Neo, Sonic comes up with a plan, but is interrupted by the psychopathic robot who boasts about realizing Eggman's dream of a global empire before grabbing the trio, then further emphasizes that he will rid the world of the Resistance and have Angel Island reach its impending doom. Mr. Edgelord questions if being captured is a part of Sonic's plan, to which he says it is now. The idea is to rip the Master Emerald off of Neo Metal's chest, his power source, then save the island from crashing into the ocean. Right for and straight to the cavalry. Knuckles agrees with the plan and begins to focus on freeing the Master Emerald while Sonic and Shadow take down Neo Metal's wings and drive him down to the island. Oh, now you decide to listen. Back on the battleship, Vector tells Tails that he sees Master Overlord coming towards them, but Tails has something else in mind, stating that they're heading towards him in order to return the favor. Saying that Sonic is in trouble and needs help, he has Vector tell Amy to get everyone to arrive on deck as soon as he closes in. As Vector acknowledges, he says, "Man, I hope we're getting hazard pay for this." Really, dude? A paycheck is all you're worried about? God. As such, Tails begins firing lasers at Master Overlord with the ship, while Knuckles glides towards Neo Metal's torso, letting Amy know to help take out the wings, and Sonic and Shadow go after the left and right rings respectively. Elsewhere, in a base that appears to be Final Egg from Sonic Adventure, the amnesiac Eggman is tied up on a trap by Rough and Tumble, who are tired of the Fat Man's repeated offers when wanting to live, leaving Tumble begrudgingly unimpressed and is very skeptical about the amnesiac Eggman's behavior. A voice is heard, telling him that it is the real Eggman and the reason for his amnesia being caused by his last defeat. The voice comes from a shadowy figure, an unfamiliar scientist named Dr. Starline, another prominent new character created for this series, and he is the one who instructed Rough and Tumble to capture Eggman, and he may be the reason as to why they're out of prison. And I definitely got a lot of things to say about this man in the thoughts and opinions segment of the review. Upon revealing his presence, he states that he made his own career out of studying him, making it sound as though he is his biggest fan, judging by that description. He plans to restore Eggman's memories by simply placing goggles on his face, which resembles that of the E1000 series robots, and electrocuting him. How he survives this? Your guess is as good as mine. Cutting back to the battle, Master Overlord catches the battleship with his hands, only to be hit in the face by Sonic. He thinks to himself about another plan, which is tick Metal Sonic off. He then goes up on Neo Metal with a Spider-Man X quip by identifying the psychopathic robot's hypocritical statement about Sonic being a loathsome copy, despite him himself looking less like a hedgehog and more like a 50-foot tall dragon who has the Master Emerald as its pacemaker, making the aforementioned statement more diabolical. And yeah, he's got a point. Of course, Neo Metal refuses to accept it, claims otherwise, and almost continues ranting until he is shot in the face by a rocket blast launched by Whisper, whom Sonic compliments for the dramatic timing. All the resistance join in and aid Sonic and battle Neo Metal. With the use of the real superpowered teamwork, they attack him all together. Amy lets the Blue Blur know that Knuckles has relayed the plan and needs him to buy them some time while Tails gets into position. As such, Sonic spin attacks Master Overlord's head, while the rest go for the wings, and as Knuckles tries to force the Master Emerald out of the core. And again, with the real superpower of teamwork. I've referenced that quote so many times now in the past reviews, so I won't use the clip this time, but I'm pretty sure everyone gets the idea at this point. Suddenly, Master Overlord yeets everybody off of him, setting them to their nearly inevitable demise. However, Silver uses his psychic powers through intense focusing to rescue everyone. Underrated Silver moment, by the way. As he does this, Master Overlord approaches him from behind and attempts to interrupt this process, but gets immediately rammed into by the battleship, which Tails is delighted by. This tactic gives Knuckles just enough time to remove the Master Emerald from Master Overlord's core, finally thwarting the Mastermind's goal once and for all. He glides down to the shrine on Angel Island with a big smile on his face, and puts the Master Emerald back on its original spot where it belongs, which allows the island to resurface. My boy is so happy he got his gem back. Silver brings everyone down to the surface and releases them. Sonic hurries over to the remnants of the battleship, worrying for Tails. He finds his best buddy emerge from it, revealing that he is unscathed, and states that he does not want to do a risky move like that again. Thankfully, that will indeed not be an occurrence anytime soon, as Neo Metal Sonic, who has now reverted back to the original Metal Sonic, is defeated and is now out of commission. Farewell, Neo Metal Sonic. You will be missed. The fight is finally over as all the team members congratulate each other for their own work. Tango expressing excitement and wants to hang out with them more. I love her so much, by the way. And Shadow just leaves. Yep, typical Shadow fashion. Why am I not surprised? At least Mr. Edgelord had the integrity to tag along in this battle and even waved to Rouge. Upon their victory, Knuckles shows great satisfaction that he's glad to be back home and asks about Metal Sonic's defeat, and Tails confirms it. They relay their happiness in the robot's defeat, Eggman's new persona, and Angel Island back in its place. The day is saved! Or so it seems. Back in Eggman's lab, Dr. Starline completes the first procedure in restoring Eggman's memory, hoping the evil doctor will be back in his old self. This concludes the issue, in which the narrator states, next time on IDW Sonic, cost of the battle for Angel Island. Once again, like the last two issues, rereading this issue for this video made me remember how optimistic I was checking out the rest of the saga after purchasing my graphic novel copy of it from 2 years ago, and I still enjoyed every moment of it, although there are a few setbacks. With that said, of course, let's go over the highlights. This issue's art style is more or less the same as the last issue. Tracy Yardley and Evan Stanley once again collaborated on the art with their styles for the characters and backgrounds. Like issue 10, the art style also changes in between scenes, which reveals an unexpected but interesting shift between set styles in the same story. I've already given this approach its own discussion in the last review, so see that video for more details. However, they decided to up the ante with it by switching the art in a total of 4 times. Tracy has done the art for pages 1 to 6, then Evan takes a turn to deliver hers in pages 7 and 8 where Dr. Starline appears, then Tracy comes back in for pages 9 to 13, and Evan returns for page 14 and onwards. Think of it in games like Sonic Heroes, Sonic Advance 3, the Sonic Rush games, Sonic 06, the Sonic Boom games, Sonic Mania Plus, Sonic Forces, and Sonic Frontiers. All of those games have a distinctive mechanic incorporated by the designers to enhance gameplay, which involves characters working together. That's pretty much what Tracy and Evan were doing throughout the issue. They both took turns drawing for the issue's story as if they were competing in a board game. It's such a good way to show that the staff team are content with each other when working on all types of media. I do have one mild nitpick about these style changes. I'm not a fan of how it switches for the 4th time in the very same scene. Tracy's art already looked fine at the latter part of the main plot with pages 9 to 13, but when it switches to Evan's style in page 14 where the battle is still going, it just looks a little bit off-putting after being used to the former's art style, especially as an artist myself. That's just a subjective stance on my end. I'm not saying it's a bad choice for them to do this, but I only wish Tracy did the rest of the A-plot story for pages 9 to 19 and have Evan do the last page of the issue. Looking back at the screenshot written by one of the IDW staff, they mentioned that Evan was drawing something cool and super secret in this issue. Gee, I wonder what that could be. I will be addressing it in the next highlight. So again, like the last issue, all the characters look great and superbly detailed with the simplicity of Tracy's art and the comedic / expressive style of Evan's art. Tails' expression when he hits Master Overlord with the battleship is hilarious, and the way Knuckles smiles while holding the Master Emerald as he glides down the Angel Island is probably one of his best ones yet in the comic. Said this before, and I'll say it again. I'm so glad they made Knuckles actually be a competent character compared to his recent game appearances at the time of this issue's release. This is how you're supposed to write this man. Even the Paramount movies got his character right. Anyways, props to Tracy Yardley and Evan Stanley for once again working with each other on this issue story. Hope to see more artists do the same in the future stories. Next highlight in this issue is Dr. Starline, another prominent new character created exclusively for this comic and the first original main antagonist in this series. Like Tangle and Whisper, Starline's creation was conceptualized by Ian Flynn, who reveals that he took inspiration from a rare glitch that can be found in Knuckles Chaotix, which oddly has asterisks for a name, but has since been dubbed as Weknia by fans. This glitch involves a random unknown character who is a recolored version of Knuckles with a silver white skin, red strands on his dreadlocks, and red eyes. To get this character to appear, you have to go to the options menu from the title screen and select color test. There are 3 pairs of 00 that are surrounded by less than and greater than signs. Then you will have to put in the exact values. The full cheat code is mentioned by the Sonic News Network website if you're curious about wanting to input it. If done successfully, you'll have access to the game's debug mode along with the level select. There you will see the asterisk, which is the glitch character, Weknia, and upon selection, he will spawn in a chosen level. I will recommend checking out Cybershell's video on Knuckles Chaotix for more information as he perfectly delves into the history of this leftover design. So Weknia ended up becoming popular within the fanbase as there were tons of fan arts made about him. Ian Flynn appeared to be fond of this design leftover and decided to incorporate it for Starline and 2 other characters, which he mentioned in a tweet from 2021. He briefly elaborates this in 2 podcasts and confirms the truth of the entire inspiration for Starline.
And There's that other famous palette glitch, the Wechidna, also known as a line of stars.
Yeah.
With his white and red palette being a monotreme.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's any correlation or plans to be had there.
Uh-oh.
I've said too much.
Uh-oh. Let's go. Here we go. Here's the first one. Was Dr. Starline and his name based on the glitch character Wechnia and his in-game name, 10 star characters, since it is basically a line of stars.
Yep, that's exactly it.
All right.
He eventually shares this concept idea to Evan Stanley to create a design for him to fit these attributes. According to the latter, Dr. Starline was made as a spiritual successor to the previous Echidna villains, those being Dr. Zachary from Sonic the Comic and Dr. Fenativis from the Archie series, who are also inspired by the Wechnia glitch from Knuckles Chaotix. She has also cited Jareth, the Goblin King, and Michael Jackson's appearance in the Thriller music video as extra inspirations for Dr. Starline, as well as his tuxedo being based off of Mike Pollock's infamous purple shirt he would wear at conventions. The Sonic News Network website has shared tons of early concept artwork of Starline, and you can see what both Ian and Evan were envisioning. After the design was finalized, Dr. Starline has come and has made it into the series as the first true original villain. I now see what Evan meant when she said, "something cool and super secret" from this screenshot alone. His introduction in this issue was handled perfectly. His anonymous mention and the subtlety actions, such as in this case where he has Rough and Tumble kidnap Eggman, was yet another twist the series has done. I also love his design. He reminds me so much of Perry the Platypus, seeing as how they're both the same species, are skilled in secrecy, and highly intelligent. However, Dr. Starline has completely different motives when it comes to his sinister personality, seeing as how he tries to restore Eggman's memories in a rather harmful way. At some point before the events of the comic, Starline had become fascinated by Eggman's brilliance, charisma, and tenacity, hence his statement about making a career after studying him. This is all we know about him so far, but it will be explained more in the next issue. So for this reason, I'll be saving my overall thoughts on him when I review that issue. But so far, I like Dr. Starline, and it's great that we have another new villain who wasn't a recurring character from a recent game. Much like Rough and Tumble, he's a good addition to Sonic's new cast of villains, and I look forward to his future roles in this series. Next highlight is Neo Metal Sonic's ultimate form, Master Overlord, which was originally named Metal Overlord in Sonic Heroes. In that game, he transformed into this form by copying data from all the teams, with the exception of Team Chaotix, as well as Chaos data from Froggy. He fights each team separately in a 4-phase boss fight, with the final one depicting him in his powered up state, in which Team Supersonic pursues and battles. It's to this day one of my favorite final bosses in the entire series, both in gameplay, story, and music. After his defeat, he reverted back to the original Metal Sonic, although he was still capable of speaking for a short period of time. For over 2 decades, this was the form's only real appearance in the mainline games, as he's had cameo appearances in other titles. However, he makes an unexpected return in Shadow Generations as the second boss. It's also one of my favorite bosses in that game. Feel free to check out my one-shot video and a recent livestream on the game. Also, there's an interesting fact about his inclusion. Metal Sonic is the only antagonist to appear in all 3 Generations titles, including the 3DS version. Not only that, but this inclusion also makes Metal Sonic the 4th character overall to appear in his classic and modern self, the others being Sonic, Tails, and Eggman. So still no classic Knuckles, no classic Amy, and no classic Team Chaotix? That's bull. So where does that leave Master Overlord and IDW? Well, I'll be honest, I was never too big on the design of this form from the games, not even in this series. It also doesn't help that the redesign is pretty lackluster. They decided to give him knife-like spikes on both sides and bottom to make him look more intimidating and is slightly smaller, whereas the original design looked like it had more depth to it. I know some might disagree and prefer the simple look from Master Overlord, and that's completely okay. I will respect it. In terms of personality, he's more or less the same, still constantly boasting about ruling the world in Eggman's place and mentioning that he's the real Sonic, which is obviously false. I see where Sonic was going through with his plan to point out his narcissistic behavior. His defeat was kinda anticlimactic, and it happens the exact same way as in Heroes, with the only difference being Metal Sonic no longer speaking as soon as he reverts back. It's one of those funny tropes where a villain who undergoes a new form seems very powerful by easily overpowering a hero, but gets ultimately defeated, or in most cases, be killed by simple means. For Metal Sonic's case, he got shafted twice. Last issue, he was in a super form, knocking around Sonic and Knuckles until he was stabbed in the torso by Shadow, losing the form. And here he undergoes this transformation, which is already basically in the game, albeit with a different method of acquiring data, but is defeated again by simple means. And I feel the reason why this happens is because he let his guard down like an idiot. And what's sadder is that this is the final appearance of Neo Metal Sonic. For the rest of the IDW series, Metal Sonic is going to be in his normal state, meaning that he can no longer speak. I've stated this in my issue 7 review, but I still love what they did with him by making the build up to his motivations very subtle and incorporating a plot element from Heroes to further compensate for it all. But none of it matters now since we have Dr. Starline who attempts to bring back Eggman's memories, which may make Metal Sonic irrelevant as a main villain at this point, especially after 11 issues. Once again, rest in peace, Neo Metal Sonic. You will be missed. One last highlight are the references, allusions, and callbacks, although there's not that many to go over in this issue, and I've already spoken about 2 others in the previous 2 reviews, but there is one worth discussing. The icon for Dr. Starline's name that appears along with him is drawn in the same style as the one used for Sonic in his promotional artwork from Sonic Adventure. And yeah, that's it for the highlights, I guess. Shame there wasn't a whole lot for me to find in this issue. Like the previous 2 issues, the story still continues to be stellar and captivating, the characters are written well, Shadow appears to have a slight improvement from his portrayal in issue 6, the 2 art styles are still nice to view despite being slightly off-putting by page 14, and the introduction to Dr. Starline, who I actually looked forward to discussing the most in this review. My only criticism about the story is how Master Overlord didn't really seem to be that much of a threat compared to Meta Overlord from Sonic Heroes, seeing as how they didn't even need Burning Blaze or Super Sonic to defeat him. So that makes me wonder if he was either less powerful or just unlucky. That's for anyone watching to decide what they think happened. With that said, I will be giving this issue a 7 out of 10. As always for the IDW series, we get 2 variant covers designated for the issue, which give readers an alternative way of reading the comics, or be like me and purchase the graphic novels where almost all the covers for the issues are added, but that's besides the point. Let's go over these covers. Cover B represents the main setting of the issue's plot, as Sonic, Shadow, and Knuckles are fighting Master Overlord, shown in the latter's perspective, similar to the second convention exclusive cover from issue 7. There is a subtle reference in the bottom left of the cover, which says, Sonic, Shadow, and Knuckles. This is a reference to the well-known and Knuckles meme, catered by the internet audience since the 2010s. Even Sega loves it so much, they put it as a mode in Sonic Mania. Another reason why I love that game. Also, I wonder if they were trying to reference the knock knock is Knuckles when Sonic knocks on Master Overlord's face. I always thought that was funny. This was drawn by Lamar Wells and Adam Bryce Thomas, being the second cover they have created together, the first being cover 8 from issue 9. While this cover is not one of the best, it is still visually enthralling. Props to both Lamar and Adam for this. Next and last is the RI cover, done once again by Nathalai Fordrain. This sees Sonic and Shadow basically aura farming by mimicking their similar poses from the opening cutscene of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, which has since been an iconic shot that has been used in future games and media, including the Sonic 3 movie. The only difference is Master Overlord's eye replacing the sun. You won't be able to tell such a thing until you look closer behind them. Also, I feel like this was made to please the Sonado shippers. As much as I don't care for the clearly dumb gay relationships people love to make about them on Twitter, there are times where I find it genuinely funny. That's the Sonic fandom for ya. And once again to Nathalai, she has eaten good once again with this cover, and I look forward to discussing her next one from the next issue. These covers are probably one of the most underrated in the comic, and I feel like people don't really speak on them often. The RI cover is most definitely one of my favorites, and I put it on an A tier list. I need to know if someone has made a tier list of every IDW Sonic cover so that I can make a full listing out of it. If anyone knows, tell me in the comments. And that is it for my IDW Sonic issue 11 review. It continues to show what made IDW Sonic so great, and this arc, despite some issues, is still amazing and a good send-off to the entire Neo Metal Sonic saga for 11 issues. But it's not over just yet, as we still got one more issue to end it all and lead to an all-new saga now that Dr. Starline has come into the picture. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this whole review. Next time we'll be taking a look at issue 12, where it will follow the aftermath of this battle. Thank you all for watching, I'm Bronto75, and I'll see you in the next review.